Hey, what's crack-a-lackin', guys? JayzTwoCents here. Yeah, I just said crack-a-lackin'. No idea why I said that, so I sincerely apologize for that. We're going to take a look at a little bit of a combo pack here today from EVGA. We are going to take a look at the EVGA Supernova 1000 G2. And I think they call it G for gangsta, because it's pretty gangsta, if you know what I mean. Gangsta. Gangsta. Is that even a gang sign? Somebody tell me. Maybe I just said hello in Mandarin sign language. I have no idea. So yeah, we are going to be taking a look at this 1000 G2 Supernova here from EVGA and a little mystery package that goes along with this that we'll take a look at once I kind of get past this bad boy, this sexy beast right here. Okay guys, let's be honest. This is a power supply. There's not a whole lot you can say about it. I mean, you can talk about the cable quality, you can talk about the efficiency. This is gold rated, so that means it's pretty efficient. And, build quality. 12 volt rails, things like that. Really boring stuff. So, taking a look inside here, I don't know really how much there is to say. Now, the packaging, obviously, I think is pretty damn nice. I mean, it's, look at this. They even got this cable pouch here. Here's your cables. I'll just take out a few of them because there's actually a lot. Now, I actually have a gripe about this power supply, and that is being that all of the accessory powers are red. Now, I know EVGA really likes red. I know that their motherboards tend to have a lot of red in them. But, what if you were doing a blue build? What if these cables just aren't what you're after? I mean, they're sleeved nice. Look at that. They're not individually sleeved, but they've got nice sleeving on there. They're nice and heavy duty. It's dense. The 24 pin are all black cables underneath there. The red cables are all red cables under there. So you don't have a rainbow plethora of colors going on, which you guys know I really, really hate. In fact, that's probably one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to power supplies is the fact that so many companies use non-dense or very thinly dense sleeving that allows you to see all the ugly colors through there. But not these, they're densely sleeved. But I do have a serious issue with them being red. But there is a remedy for that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Now inside here you get your power supply in a nice little pouch, and it's got some pretty nice texture to it. I mean, this is a sexy power supply, it really is. The fan on here, it's PWM controlled, so it's going to ramp up and slow down. And most of the time, you're not even going to be able to hear it because unless it's under an intense load, it's not even going to turn on, thanks to the 80 plus gold rating on there. But this is a very nice looking unit. I really, really like this a lot. It looks nice, and if it's going to be displayed in your system somewhere, it would be worth looking at. Except for those damn cables. Now, I really do like EVGA. I mean, cables aside, if you were doing a red build, by all means, the cables on this look amazing. If they were all black, they would fit everybody's needs, in my opinion. But, for whatever reason, they chose to go with the red. But if that red doesn't suit you and you like the power supply, there is an option out there. And that other thing we're taking a look at today is their custom power supply cable sets. Now, this I really like to see. Because you guys know I use Lucho Customs for my custom cables on my rig. Red Mist is getting them. But they carry a hell of a price tag. You guys know when you want the best comes with the price tag. And Lucho Custom stuff, just like the Case Labs, it's not for the faint of heart, but you know you're getting the best when you buy it. So what if you want that custom look without breaking your bank? Well, you go with a power supply like this that has a custom cable set. Now, what I really love about the EVGA cable set over the Corsair cable set is they include everything. The 24-pin, the SATA cables, the Molex cables, the 8-pin EPS power cable, the PCI Express cables. They're all in here. They're an exact cable replacement for their modular PSUs. Any modular cable that's on your PSU gets a fully single-sleeved or individually sleeved cable for it. And this is only $89 at the time of filming, a cable set for $89. It includes the 24-pin and all of that. The thing I really don't like about Corsairs is it's about $79 or so, but then it's another $20 for the 24-pin. And if you need more PCI Express, it's all extra charges, and it can get up to a couple $100 by the time you're done, depending on how many cables you need. So they throw everything together in a kit here without breaking the bank. Now, to add another $90 on top of your power supply does add to the cost, but this is for the person wanting that custom look. And they come in all kinds of colors: red, black, blue. I think they might have green, I'm not sure. But go and check out their website and you can see what all the colors are that are available. But here they are right here. I mean, look at that. all the cables are right here. Now the first thing we're going to take a look at is the 24 pin. Is the 24 pin? No. We are going to go ahead and take a look at the 24 pin. Here we go. How does open package? Yeah. There we go. Now, nice quality sleeving. Here is your CPU power. Here is another 8-pin CPU power. So guys, 2 8-pin CPU powers, not just one like Corsair, 2. Because they know some motherboards require auxiliary 8-pin and more power than just the one plug, depending on what you're doing. And here is your 24-pin cable right here. Now, you might be able to tell already, maybe you can't. This is heat shrinkless tubing. I love heat shrinkless tubing because it looks so much more clean. Now the length on here I think could stand to be a little bit longer, but that's just me. I mean, this might not reach something like in a Case Labs case, but in your standard, full tower, mid tower, this is going to be plenty long. But look at the sleeving quality of this. It's really tight sleeving. You just really couldn't ask for anything better that's going to plug in directly to your power supply and have absolutely no compatibility issues. I mean, allow me to demonstrate that right now. Here's the side that says power supply. You go over to, actually that says motherboard. We learn to read, I promise. Plug in the power supply, plug it into the power supply, and there it is. Red sleeved cable for your OEM power supply. You didn't void any warranties. You didn't have to take the time doing it yourself for $90. Now guys, this is something I highly recommend for the do-it-yourselfer who doesn't have a lot of time and you're willing to shell out $90 for some cables that are heat shrinkless. Just look perfectly well done. I mean, I have no complaints. All the cable sleeving is tight on here. There's no bulging. They're all perfectly straight. They're all the exact same length. They got a zip tie on there right there. But you're going to be able to do some custom looking cables inside your system at absolutely, really killer rate. Now let's take a look at some of the other cables you get here. You get SATA with 3 SATA on there, another SATA with 3 SATA, another SATA with 3 SATA, another SATA with 3 SATA, 3 Molex plugs on there, and 2 more Molex plugs and a floppy drive. The floppy drive kind of makes me laugh, quite honestly. Not sure why we got floppy drive stuff, but okay, whatever. And this is obviously going to be our PCI Express stuff. So how many PCI Express cables do you get? Well, here is a 6-pin to 8-pin. Here is a 6-pin 8-pin. Here's a 6-pin 8-pin. Here's another 6-pin 8-pin, another 6-pin 8-pin, and another 6-pin 8-pin. So that's 1. So there's 1 graphics card. There's 2 graphics cards. And there's 3 graphics cards. So they actually give you enough cables to do a 3-way SLI or Crossfire. Again, $90. You get all of these cables. Look at this. Look at how many cables you get for $90. That is freaking awesome. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it right now. I love this. All right, so the test rig is together behind me now, as you can see, and we use the EVGA Supernova 1000 G2. Massively overkill power supply for this test bench. But, it's going to get the job done, and I can expand the system in the future if I need to. Now, obviously, we threw in the cable kit from EVGA. Here it is right here. Now, as with most things in life, there's no such thing as perfection. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you a list of pros and cons that I have about these cables. So hear me out completely before you come to any sort of conclusion about these. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, they give you a ton of cables. I mean, look, these are all the cables I have left. And that's a complete system back there with 2 hard drives, a graphics card, water cooler, fans. I mean, look at all this. There's a lot left. So it can be a little bit wasteful in the sense that there's a lot of material here that's now just going to sit in a box. And, that's kind of a downside. And the downside to that is, since these are complete assembled kits, you can't really pick and choose the cables that you need or want. So, I mean, it would have been nice if maybe EVGA offered individual, maybe you could buy a cable you need for $10 or something like that. I mean, if they can put this whole kit together for $90, they could afford to sell, VGA cables for $10 sort of thing, to just get the cables that you need, rather than having all this waste just sitting here. Now the sleeving on here is fantastic. It's a little bit stiff in my opinion. It does, I mean, it bends like nicely like that, but the thing is, the cable still kind of wants to twist on you as you are routing it in your case. If you try to come out of your case and you try and go up, and then you have to kind of make a right bend, they tend to twist a little bit on you. Now that's not really the fault of so much the sleeving and stuff as it is the cable. I mean, the cables themselves are made up of really tiny, finely strands of copper that are twisted together too, so obviously there's going to be some natural twist in there for that. So it made routing the cables a little bit interesting, but it didn't create any problems for me. I was able to get the back panel on without having to shove it or kick it with my foot. And we've all been there, right? We've all had such cable clutter in the back of our system sometimes that you've got to like wedge it shut, like you're trying to get that suitcase closed for your trip, and you're sitting on it and you're pulling the zipper. Yeah, I didn't have to do any of that, so that wasn't a problem. But when it comes to the plugs, I think a lot of the beauty of these plugs is really negated by the fact that you have the really ugly, VGA printed on there and VGA printed there, and some of the other ones say EVGA on one side. And so you take these gorgeous plugs and then you look in the system and you just see this stamped, screen printed lettering everywhere, and that's kind of a downside in my opinion. I mean, if they had better proprietary plugs on here and they could only go in the place they're designed to go in, then that would alleviate them needing to print this out because you couldn't put it anywhere else. But then you're talking extra costs in the design of proprietary plugs, and it's probably not worth it for them. That's not a market that they're looking at, becoming the most expensive on the market, which could inevitably happen. So the cable kit is a great kit. It really is. It allows you to add some color to your system, get you some custom looks in there without breaking the bank. I love everything about this. I just wish that the cables didn't have that screen printing on there and they could route a little bit better. Maybe if they had gone with more of like a paracord type of sleeving than a hard plastic sleeving, that would have been a little bit more preferred on my end. So overall, guys, these custom cables here from EVGA for their EVGA line of power supplies. Go and check out their website. You can see which power supplies are supported. And go and check out the colors that are up there. And if you think there's any cool, unique color combos they should put down below, like I said earlier, maybe alternate some red and some white, or some black and white, or black and red, so you can get even a little bit more color in there. I think that would be kind of unique. So really good option by EVGA, really well priced, and bang for the buck again. If you're looking at doing something cable or management or some custom cables in your system, but you can't afford super high-end sleeved cables like Lutro Customs, which are very pricey, this is certainly an option that you should consider. So guys, it's been JayzTwoCents. Follow on Twitter if you'd like to chat with me about this video or any other tech stuff, or you just want to tell me how much you hate my videos, or maybe you want to send me a funny joke, or I don't know what else kids do these days on Twitter. Maybe you want to send me a funny meme. That'd be kind of cool. Head on up to Twitter. And as always, guys, I will see you in my next video.